Have you ever been going along in life and you're doing pretty good and you feel like you got a lot of joy, and then something happens and all of a sudden your joy's gone? It just seems like it's not there. You can't seem to find joy. It's been stolen from you. And I submit to you, it's been stolen because you are believing a lie. Now, there's three common lies that steal our joy. Let me give them to you. Number one, if I feel something, it must be true. That's our culture. Go with your gut. Trust how you feel. Well, you no longer feel in love. You're no longer in love. So just move on to somebody else. If I feel something, it must be true. Well, that's not true. You can't trust your feelings. Jeremiah 17 and verse 9 says, your heart is deceitful and desperately wicked. You can't even accurately know it. You can't trust your feelings. But you can trust God, and God is the source of joy. When you feel like your joy is getting stolen from you, that's a call to get closer to God, because joy comes from God. Psalm 16:11 says that in the presence of God is the fullness of joy, because God emanates joy. A second lie that steals our joy is, well, I shouldn't have to live with these unfulfilled longings and these unmet dreams. Yeah, that's what life is down here. That's the truth. Job chapter 14 says life is short and full of trouble. Okay, your life's not going to be perfect. It's not going to go smoothly. Everything's not going to go your way. You're not going to get everything you want in this life. You will have unfulfilled longings and unmet dreams, especially if you're longing for the wrong thing and you're dreaming about the wrong thing. The Bible's pretty clear. All of us have a God-shaped void in our lives. And that longing, will never be fulfilled until we fill our lives with God. That emptiness, we're going to look for other things to fill it up, but even if we got those things, we still would feel something was missing. You need to let God fill your life, because God is the only one that can meet your deepest longings. And you need to remember that your deepest longings and dreams won't be met until you get to heaven. So your longings should call you to have a deeper desire to be with God in heaven. Romans 8:18 says, for the sufferings of this present time are not worth being compared with the glory that's going to be revealed in us on that day. There's a third lie that steals our joy, and that is, I shouldn't have to suffer. If God was really good, God would fix my problems. Well, it doesn't work that way. God will go with you through your problems. 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 9, Paul says, I have found that God's grace is sufficient to get me through my problems. God will give you what you need to get through your problems, but God uses your problems to develop you. James 1 says to grow you up spiritually and emotionally, to mature you. Hebrews chapter 12 says that God uses our difficulties to train us and prepare us to be more effective at ministering to other people. Genesis chapter 39, verse 50, it says that it tells us the story of Joseph, who had one bad thing after another happen to him, and God used all of it to position him and prepare him for a much greater responsibility, a wonderful position. He went from being a slave to the prime minister. So God uses your problems. That's part of the deal down here. That's what it's like down here on earth. This is a situation where God is using all our difficulties to develop us and prepare us and train us for what He has for us. And remember this, one day God will fix all your problems. It's called heaven. There'll be no more suffering, no more sadness, no more sorrow. You'll be in a problem-free place. But until then, you need to go with God. You need to go back to God. You need to stay close to God, because God is the source of joy.